age or the era of big data, Internet of Things. We are emitting data 24/7, all over the place. Actually, it's not only from our computer anymore, it's not only from our smartphones, but even our cars are talking. My God, my refrigerator is talking.
This is your data. This is not something we found in the coal mine. This is not something that stays somewhere at the server of some organization or some controller. This is actually information also about us and about our behavior.
Everyone has the right to the protection of personal data concerning him or her. More generally, the protection of personal data is associated with the individual's right to privacy. And thus, in Europe, we have defined the protection of personal data as a fundamental right. And for that reason, the information relating to an individual deserves the highest degree of protection in our legal system.
The European Federation of Direct Marketers are celebrating the Data Protection Day. Why is it important to have an open public debate here in the European Parliament? Because we care about citizens' privacy. We care about finding a right balance between privacy, freedom of expression, public access to documents, and a well-functioning digital single market.
It's a huge event. It's the first time that we do this kind of event in the European Parliament.
Well, we're at an important time in the legislative process, which is driving towards the adoption of a regulation protecting personal data in Europe. And FEDMA is one of the very unique organizations in Europe in having done self-regulation in an effective way. And participating in a FEDMA event is therefore a really great opportunity to discuss self-regulation with an organization which has a track record of success in that area.
Consumer experiences. The standardization of certain practices under a code of conduct could create consistent experiences across the European Union or beyond, which would build trust, build understanding, consumers seeing similar icons, seeing similar processes, being confronted with similar consent interfaces or practices by business could begin to develop an understanding of what is being asked for or done, and therefore begin to trust those services.
And we are inviting here extremely qualified, competent, expert, lawyers, representatives from civil society to give us the insights from the business, consumers and legal point of view. We're having a very, very fruitful debate to help us legislate in the interest of citizens.
The solutions come from technology, innovation, research, creativity. So we are facilitators. We are in new ground as policymakers because technology is so fast.
It's very interesting also to know that in the room there are also the people from the industry as Facebook, Microsoft, Tesco, Volvo and a lot of one. So it's very, very interesting to go each other in the same direction to protect the consumer and to protect the utilization of the data.
For me, the most important thing is the necessity of having consistency in privacy regulation in order for us to innovate and deliver greater value to our customers and ultimately to consumers.
The cooperation with business is extremely vital for the data protection authorities, including the European Data Protection Supervisor. And FEDMA seems to be the main partner to see the story of success, because that is the code of conduct which has been passed already some years ago, which is in force and which definitely somehow has to be prepared to the new demands from the legal point of view, but also from the technical point of view.
40 million people have downloaded our consumer privacy tool. That's anecdotal evidence that people are concerned about their digital selves and their digital privacy.
FEDMA is doing good work in the marketplace in the EU, helping companies, marketing companies understand best practices and how to be transparent with their consumers. And what we found, in fact our motto is transparency for all, is that the more transparent a company is with their consumers, the more their customers trust them, and ultimately the more business they do together.
The biggest challenge is first helping All the stakeholders understand that we need to move from a compliance system to a full information or data governance system that's based not just on the basis of the law, but is based on the ethical application of information.
It is our job at the Information Accountability Foundation to be thinking 3 or 4 years ahead and to work with all stakeholders as part of that process to come up with governing concepts that could truly work. We believe very strongly that you have to have an ethical process in order to make big data work.
The EU data protection regulation at root is about harmonisation, and so it makes sense for FEDMA to try and equalise things across Europe and for companies to all strive towards the same. Otherwise things won't be harmonised, and if businesses want to operate across countries, then it makes sense for them to be harmonised and all strive towards the same goal.
We're close to the finish line, and it's very encouraging to see that this is coming to a conclusion, but also that self-regulation will play an important part of the whole process.
We would really like to develop this charter together with those companies who want to differentiate themselves as the responsible, reliable partner of the big brands.